friends, my name is Nikita Bode, and today we are going to discuss about the ICSR topic. Firstly, the full form of ICSR is an Individual Case Safety Report. Individual Case Safety Report, it is a form that captures the information needed to the support reporting of adverse event, product problems, and the consumer complaints associated with the FDA regulated products. It is a document in the specific format for the reporting of one or more several suspected adverse reaction to the medicinal product that occurs in a single patient of a specific part of time. Simply, it is a form which is used to report the ADR. ADR occurs after the consumption of one or more drugs at a specific point of a time. After that, the ICSR describes about the one patient, one or more identifiable suspected ADRs, one or more identifiable suspected medicinal product, and one or more identifiable reporter who report the ADR. Means the patient's information, the reporter's information. After that, the identifiable adverse reactions adverse drug reactions information. After that, the medicinal product information. All that information includes in a individual case safety report. To clarify the particular ADRs and to move forward or to decide the next step of a processing. It is a means and identifiable reporter means the patient. It is not necessary that the patient who occurs the ADR should report the ADR. It is not mandatory or necessary. Anyone can report that ADR occurs to the patient. Means the pharmacists, the doctors, the relatives of that particular patient, all of them can report the ADR occurs to the patient. It is not mandatory or necessary that the patient who occurs the ADR should report the ADR. After that, ICSR is generated and prepared from two types, solicited and unsolicited. Solicited and unsolicited. After in solicited, all the information and description is gathered by the clinical trials. After that, post marketing surveillance. After that, the reporting support program. In all that programs and clinical trials and marketing description or information is gathered, and all that information is submitted means report is get formed, and all that report containing all the description is forwarded via the mobile phones, electronic mode or the paper mode. That means we can courier the report or the fax the report to the regulatory authorities or the FDA. After that, unsolicited. In that type, all the data is gathered from the spontaneous reporting, media, and the literature. That by that three types, all the data is gathered, and that data is also can be submitted. Report is get formed and submitted via the fax or the paper mode. After that, overview of ICSR processing. After that, reception of a case. Reception of a case means if ADR is occurred and that ADR is get reported. That reported means receive the case. Means FDA receive that case or regulatory authority receive that case. That is the first step of a ICSR processing. After that, the validation and duplication check means in that step the validation is done and the duplication check is getting. That means the that particular case is valid or not. After that, the if that's or that case is duplicate or the replicated case is get verified in that particular step. All the data and all the patient information, all that areas are get verified in that second step. After that, logging the case means the after uh, we get the surety that case is valid or the true case. After that, that case is get reported. That means the lodging of that product case. After that, the triage. After that, the data entry is getting, means all the information is entered, inserted in the form of data entry. After that, the quality review. After that, medicinal review. After that, case closure. After that, the generated report for submission. Means after all that steps, the report is get formed and generated a report for the submission to FDA or the regulatory authorities. ICSR are filled by the various forms. In that, there are two types of forms. That is a mandatory form, and that is the second one is a voluntary form. In the mandatory form, the mandatory form is filled by the marketing authorization holder. After that, the mandatory for marketing authorization holder to submit that related to their product to the regulatory authority. Form, in that, the raw COMS form and the MedWatch 3500 A is get used to report to the FDA or the regulatory authority. After that, the voluntary form. In the voluntary form, the healthcare professionals and the non-healthcare professional, that form is directly report to the regulatory authority. Means in the voluntary form, there is a no necessary of marketing authorization holder is needed. The directly healthcare professional and non-healthcare professional that directly uh, submit that report to the regulatory authority. In that, two forms are get used. That is US MedWatch 3500 B and the UK yellow card form. That two forms are get used. After that, the minimum criteria for valid the ICSR means when we report the ICSR, there is a minimum criteria that makes that form valid or invalid. To make that form valid, there is a need of a lot of information. That is a patient information, reporter information, medicinal information. After that, the suspected ADR information. We can sorry, we can check that one by one. First one is a patient. Identifiable patient information is needed to make that ICSR form valid. Means the uh, age of patient, sex of patient, name of patient, and other information of that particular patient is needed to make the valid of that particular form. After that, the reporter. Identifiable reporter is needed. That means the healthcare professional, that is or the non-healthcare professional, means who reporting that ADR. That reporter should give their information to make that form valid. In that, the age, gender, name, and the other information, email, address, all information is needed to make that form valid. After that, the medicinal information. In that, all the medicinal identifiable medicinal information is needed. Means the brand name, expire date, medra code, batch number, all that information is needed to make that form valid. After that, the suspected ADRs. Suspected ADR information, that is the time, data, hospitalization, prolonged hospitalization, means what time of time duration, means how long that ADRs are occurs, that all that information is needed to make that form valid. After that, the guidelines for filling the form are given in a ICSH E2B R2, that is updated now, that is updated to E2B R3 form, ICH guidelines. After that, the pharmacovigilance department regularly evaluate the processed valid data, valid PCS ICSR report, and that reports are under obligation the regulatory authority level and legal are transmitted to the different regulatory properties such as parties such as US FDA, WHO, ICSH, various regulatory authorities which are under ICSH, which are under ICH. After transmission, do the further analysis and discussion on the drug, that finalize the further action. After that, the information gathering for the ICSR by various method, that is phone, agencies. After that, the data is get analyzed and risk benefit balance of medication is studied, and the further the drug is get decided. That means the more studies are required, dose modification is needed. After that, the drug withdrawal is needed. All that gets studied in the further step. So we in that ICSR topic, we cover the definition of ICSR, describes the ICSR, after the process of ICSR, overview processing of ICSR, then the minimum criteria as ICSR. That's it. Thank you so much.